there was a lot of interest in the fund. I want to kind of start with mechanics. So you raise your next fund. We say it's oversubscribed. Clearly, LPs are increasingly interested in exposure to defense tech. How did you raise the fund? What was the process like? How did you settle on the amount?
Sure. Thanks, Ed. Well, it's great to be back here. It was on about a year ago when we were discussing Operation Midnight Hammer. So it's terrific to be back here on your show. Well, and before I dig into those questions, I'd like to just say, we're very thrilled to be here, particularly ahead of America's 250th anniversary. This is a great country. Each generation inherited a stronger country from the last. So our central question is, what are we going to do to build for the next generation? And, that's why we set out to start Marlinspike. That's why we just went after Fund 2, and we don't see the Fund 2 closing as the end of the road. We really see it as the beginning of Marlinspike as an enduring investment institution. And so to get to the fund mechanics, we set out to raise $75 million. This was a continuation of our Fund 1, which was raised in 2022. Very, very challenging capital raising times, but we feel really good about the team and our portfolio companies and our strategy and mission for that fund. So Fund 2 is really a continuation of that. We're pleased that we more than tripled assets. We wanted to have a fund size that was modestly sized relative to some of the big multi-billion-dollar funds and firms out there. So we could stick to our knitting, be leaders in our companies, take concentrated conviction positions,
right,
and really help and guide our companies to put up uncapped returns for our investors.
We just showed some of the existing portfolio, and Anduril jumps out. Anduril now is a, let's call it, late stage growth name. What is the rest of the market in the field like? What else is out there to find?
Well, clearly, Anduril is a special company. When I ran a family office, I invested in SpaceX 12 years ago. We invested in Palantir before they went public, before we launched Fund 1. Anduril is one of our key names in Fund 1, along with Armada. So we've got a history of looking at these interesting opportunities, and in many cases, investing before it becomes obvious. Now, obviously, Anduril's obvious. They've absolutely executed and killed it, and we think there's still a lot more room to grow. And what's important about the leading companies in our space is that they have broken through, and they have shown that they can execute, operate, and scale. And so what we're really looking for is who are the next batch of leaders that are coming up. And I saw in your logos there for Fund 2, we have a number of these already in the fund. We actually launched the fund in 24, so we like to say building the plane while flying it, which is a neat trick where you're raising money and investing along the way. So we see companies like Layup and Advanced Manufacturing, Kodiak and autonomous trucking, Jet Zero, we think is going to be the next national champion for aerospace for our country. So these are the companies you might not know about now, but we think you're going to know about them pretty soon.
The general broad idea is that the government of today is more open to doing business with more nimble, largely Silicon Valley-based technology companies, right, outside of the legacy primes. Do you see evidence of that? Like when you're modeling for the future growth of the portfolio companies, you have line of sight to them winning those awards through the Pentagon, Department of War, et cetera?
Yes, correct. But that's not all that we do. So this is really about a new era in American industrial renaissance. So we see the convergence of AI, autonomous systems, advanced manufacturing. Not only are they serving mission sets for national security, but also the commercial market. So we like that convergence of those sectors because we think that can really be the highest growth and the biggest productivity increase for our country and our portfolio companies. So that's why we're doing this, because it's going to make America and our economy and national security stronger.
Neil, would you call yourselves a venture capital firm, or how would you describe the sort of mechanics of what you do? And the reason I ask that is I'm really interested in this sector, specifically defense, what the exit strategy looks like. Traditional path to IPO, or if actually more likely you see strategic investors come in, acquisitions happen by those bigger legacy primes.
So, look, there's three classic ways to get an exit. One, company goes all the way to an IPO. Two, some type of M&A. Or three, the secondary markets are really building and expanding. So, we often look at the secondary markets, both buying and selling, as a ways to augment our portfolio. But I think what you'll see from us continually going forward is we're going to take more of a leadership role. You'll see us leading more seed rounds and Series A's, leaning into Series B companies where we can make a real impact with our team, our access, and our insight. So that's really our sweet spot. And again, a lot of those companies, these are ideas that might not be obvious for everybody, but they become very obvious to us. And we see these companies as potential, not only national champions, but just inevitable companies that have to happen.